I appreciate that that you were able to sort of let these stories speak for themselves without really having to sort of use any sort of like music cues to sort of like get an emotional response or like a voiceover to sort of explain. I mean, were those stylistic choices that at the beginning you set out to sort of not have those, or did you just realize over time that what you had filmed sort of was enough?
Yeah, we really, I mean, that's another funny thing about documentary filmmaking. You know, your stylistic intentions can only be carried so far because you're also left to just what reality gives you. And ideally, we wouldn't have had really even any interviews. We wanted it to be, you know, kind of an observational documentary as much as possible. But again, because of this need to also like tell people what was going on. Or also another thing that we didn't anticipate, well, for a few reasons. One, David passed away before we finished filming with him, so we thought, you know, just when he died, we were in the process of scheduling a 7-week shoot with him just to specifically focus on his work and follow him to the prisons when people were arrested and do all this kind of stuff with him, and we just never got the chance. So suddenly all those initial interviews we had done really more as like research shoot ended up, you know, we just needed to pull from those so much more than we ever anticipated. So then we also, like, we didn't want any title cards. At first I didn't even want to subtitle it. I was really against that idea, but then my mom and other people would watch the cuts and just be like, you have no hope, you absolutely have to subtitle this. But we really wanted it to be, you know, as much just our characters speaking as sort of naturally and candidly as possible. But the music, we also definitely didn't want, I love music in films. I didn't want, you know, I wasn't like this true, I don't know.
I'm a purist.
Like, I didn't have this like dogma about not having music or anything, but we both really wanted it to be also as kind of organic and natural as possible, and to be helping the emotional build with the audience, but not, you know, we didn't want it to be the reason for the emotions. We wanted
you don't want to dictate to people how to feel in a certain
exactly
way.
And so John Mandabach, a very old and very good friend of mine, whose music I've loved for years but never had a reason to use or never had a film to put it in, we brought him on like super early on because we wanted some music in a lot of the grant application cuts that we were doing. And so he's sort of the only other person that's been on board since more or less day one. And we just both really liked what he did. He actually never even received a final cut of the film, so this is all sort of his temp music, but it's what we had to go with because of this rush and all that kind of stuff. But we both think it's really good. I don't know. I mean, we're both really happy with his work on the film.